Hey everybody, I know Jack's in the chat. Hi Jack, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Well, that's 10 people in already. So first off, just want to explain a few things. So you've probably noticed that the videos haven't been coming in thick and fast over the last few days, weeks, last week or so. Been really busy in the background. Something happened a year ago. Our landlord went bust and the bank repossessed the home that we rent. The bank has now sold the house, and last week we got our eviction notice. So it's just been a mad dash. This was completely out of the blue, by the way. All this was out of the blue for us. We've been in limbo for about 2 years or so regarding this place. We've had legal action and all kinds of stuff. We've had to take legal action and stuff, and it's been an absolute nightmare. So the last 7 days, because that's all they gave us, they did an accelerated Section 8 notice, which is a no fault one, because we've been paying our rent and everything like that, as we should do as tenants. But they got an accelerated Section 8. They've been really underhanded in all of this, but I can't go into that for legal reasons. That might be addressed later on down the line by us, but needless to say, we've had to make a mad dash getting removal men and just putting all of our stuff in the house into storage. We've got nowhere to go. We're going into emergency accommodation on Wednesday because there's just nowhere around here where we could go. And this is why the whole illegal immigration thing is so important for me, because there's just no social housing at all in our area. We're on a priority waiting list. We've been told it could be up to a year before we're housed. So we're going to be in probably a 2-bedroom flat or something like that. And that's it. We're basically screwed at the minute. So it's just been a mad dash trying to get everything sorted out and done. So I've been a bit distracted over the past few days, not really making the best content in my videos. As you can imagine, if anybody's ever moved house, when you've planned it, it's stressful. But imagine trying to plan a move in just 7 days. It's not been fun, I can tell you. But there you go. Yeah, it's been really, really bad at the minute. And it's annoyed me because we know where all this social housing is going. We know that the place where we live, the town where we live, is Labour run. And we've all, even though we're a priority because we've got a son with autism, we've got a young daughter, we've always been ranked 20th for the properties we've actually bid on. And we haven't actually got any properties. We were actually told we've actually gone through the homeless team and everything like that. And they've said, you don't stand a chance of getting any properties. And we know why, because certain individuals are being put to the forefront instead of people like us who are in need. And this isn't in me. There are literally thousands of people that are going through this exact same thing at the minute, because landlords are selling up, they're going bankrupt because of the ludicrous laws that are being brought in. And we've looked for private renting in the area and there just isn't anybody. There's nobody we can afford. It's an ever decreasing pool of rented homes. They're all being bought up. They're all being... Anyway, that's enough about that. So yeah, it's been really stressful over the last few days, as you can imagine. So my mind's been on other things, so my content's not exactly been the best that I've been putting out. But I apologise for that. But it will improve. So unfortunately, this is going to be the last live stream from the living room, and it's probably going to be the last live stream for a bit. I am going to be making videos. They're probably going to be out and about videos. And stuff like that. There will be content. I'm not leaving YouTube or anything like that. I'm still keeping the channel going and that sort of thing. You can imagine, though, it's just been really stressful and really put loads of pressure on me and stuff. So yeah, it's been crazy. That being said, let's get into the live stream. I just wanted to let you know what was going on and why things are a little bit weird at the minute. Let's have a look at some of the chat before I get into the meat of this. This is basically just a general chat. I just want to talk to all you guys tonight, or everybody in the chat. So if you've got anything that you want to discuss or talk about, post it in the chat and I'll go through it and I'll have a look. But yeah, Steve, exactly. Yes, the private landlord scheme has. It has. People are just selling up left, right, and centre. We've noticed there's been lots and lots. We know where rented properties are around our area, and we need to stay in this area because we've got our lad goes to college, our daughter goes to school nearby, but it looks like we're going to have to move our daughter out of school because we're not guaranteed to be in this area anymore. And it's just so maddening. We've got very little help as well. We've basically just been put into a guest house, and we were told, yeah, you can move into the guest house, but you won't get the breakfast. And it just makes my blood boil knowing that I've paid into the system all my life, and knowing that there's illegal immigrants that are getting 4 meals a day, courtesy of me and my tax. Yet me and my family, we can't get sweet FA from the system. It just makes my blood boil. It really does. And this is why I'm been so obsessed with getting rid of all the illegal immigrants, because I'm living it. I'm living through the situation. I know the whole situation and what it's causing, what it's doing to people. It's just been very, very frustrating. I've got other subjects to talk about. I'll talk about those in a bit. Your content lately has been first class, investigative stuff, in my opinion. Thanks for that. Thank you. I want to do, I am saving up for a proper streaming laptop so we can actually play videos on my live streams and we can have a discussion and stuff like that. I am pretty limited to what I can do with this laptop, and that has been a bit frustrating for me. That's why I haven't been doing as many live streams as I'd like to do. Let's have a look. You are a legend, Vindicator. Considering the pressure you've been under, your content has been outstanding. Thank you. So sorry to hear that. No need to apologise. Yeah, it's been really, really awful. It really has. No matter what happens, it's not our fault. But as a man, you feel as a failure because I'm basically legally homeless at the minute, and I've got a family. I should be providing for my family, but I can't get a job in the area because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm back of the list. The jobs that I used to be able to do, I'm not getting replies for on applications anymore, and anything like that. You just feel useless, and it just annoys me. It really does. But yeah. Yes, you have put your money towards unexpected circumstances. Exactly. Government have secured 20,000 houses from private landlords for immigrants. Consider documenting your struggle whilst many new arrivals are housed. My son and his baby is in a similar situation to you. Yeah, it's not just me. I'm not having like a sob story. A lot of people are in a similar situation to me at the minute. And when I see the reformers, the cultists coming to my video and saying, vote reform, they'll save the country. It's like, well, you're not in my shoes. You're not living through it. I'm seeing it through a completely different lens to you. I know why we need mass deportations of illegal immigrants, because it's putting pressure on our infrastructure. There just isn't enough social housing to go around for the indigenous people that have paid into the system all their lives. And then we're getting people that have only been in the country a few months that are getting new builds. They're getting put into social housing and jump in the front of the queue. Why are they more of a priority than my family? From my perspective, I've paid into the system. I should be getting these things that these illegal immigrants are getting. And it's just not fair. It's not fair at all. That's why I'm so passionate when I see these idiots come into my comment sections and vote for the Reform Party. They're going to save the country. It's like, no, they're not. And this takes me on to this first thing that I want to talk about, because I did cover this in the what was it, community post sections of my channel. So this here, mass deportations solves the housing crisis, solves terror attacks, solves the rape crisis, solves NHS waiting lists, solves school places, and solves overcrowding. Exactly. Any party that hasn't got that as part of their manifesto, they're not worth voting for. They're just not, because that is the first step to solving all this country's problems at the minute. The first step is getting rid of the excess people that shouldn't be here. That immediately takes off the pressure of our infrastructure. We get rid of all of them out of the prisons. We get all of them that have been put into hotels or deported straight away. And then we can start on the ones that haven't integrated or have been, basically doing nasty things to our children. They can all go as well, as far as I'm concerned. It's got to be part of the manifesto to vote for them. And as far as I'm concerned, UKIP is the only one that's going to do it. Just one more thing, right? Give me a thumbs up in the chat, right? Because I got accused of this today in the comment sections. This person accused me of being obsessed with the Reform Party. They said that I was obsessed and that I should shut up and not mention the Reform Party anymore. So I want to get your guys' opinions. Do you think I'm obsessed with the Reform Party? Should I keep making the videos about them? Are you getting sick and tired of me making videos about the Reform Party? I have got some other things I'm considering doing. I'm going to go to Sheffield at some point and cover the pro-Palestine march that happens there every weekend. I think that'll be very interesting. So I'm going to be doing that. I've got a few other things planned as well. Yeah, so yeah, just give me a thumbs up. If you want me to see making more content, the content I'm making in the minute, you want to see more of it, give me a thumbs up. Because I look forward to your feedback. If you guys want me to make different content, then I will. I'll make different content. I always like to have a bit of input. If you want to see me do different things, I'll do different things. I think the consensus is everybody wants me to see me doing the same stuff that I'm doing at the minute. The thing is, right, when these people come to my comment sections and they tell me to stop doing what I'm doing, I know I'm over the target, because they'll keep coming to my videos saying, oh, you're obsessed. Well, oh, you're insignificant. Your channel's insignificant. You've only got 2,000 subscribers. And then I always respond with, well, if I'm insignificant, why do you even bother responding to my video? If it's insignificant, why don't you just, ignore it and just go about your day? It reminds me of what Winston Churchill said, if you've made enemies, then you've achieved something in life, good, it means you stood for something. And, if I have to make enemies of people, then fair enough, that's a part and parcel of life, isn't it? Not obsessed, just want your country sorted out. Exactly. And I believe this is why I make all the videos about the Reform Party. I believe that if we have a party that isn't going to do the job that we want them to do, then I have to tell people about it and show them the evidence of why this party isn't worth voting for. And if that means I have to make 10,000 videos on the Reform Party and make people aware of why the Reform Party isn't what they think it is, then I will do that. That's important. And it's not obsession. I don't think it's obsession. I just think it's informing people. I wish somebody had done that way back in 2019, made all the videos about Boris Johnson. And, I wish it had been me, because I fell for it like everybody else. I thought Boris Johnson was going to be our saviour. And then, we had all the lockdowns and stuff like that in destroying the country. If we'd have had the pre-warning then, that I think Nigel Farage is going to be a disaster for this country. I believe he is. He's going to be a complete disaster. The Reform Party is. And while we're on that subject as well, that's a great intro into the next part, which is this guy, Richard Tice. God, that guy. This was, I did mention this on Twitter. This was a setup. The interviewer asked him first off. She asked him about Rupert Lowe having dementia. She asked Richard Tice, does Rupert Lowe have dementia? And Richard Tice said, you'll have to ask him. with that stupid smirk on his face. And to me, this was a complete setup. This was to bring the dementia argument back into the public consciousness deliberately, to smear Rupert Lowe even further, because mud sticks. The more you throw mud, some eventually is going to stick, and people are going to assume that he has dementia simply because it's in the public consciousness. And this is a despicable smear tactic by the Reform Party. And this is just another reason not to vote for them, because this is how they operate. They don't operate on facts and evidence. They operate by smearing people and shutting down their opposition. And that is something the far left do. They are very, very much alike with the far left, in my opinion, the way they operate. It really annoys me. He's an absolute, yeah, exactly. I don't think many people can stand Tice. He's, to me, he's got no charisma, and he's like a really shit game show host. He really is. Guardian within Christ Kingdom. I just subbed. Thanks for subbing. Thank you. I'll look at some of the comments. Does Dick Tice have dementia? Well, Tice would do if he had a functioning brain. He's an idiot. The guy's a moron. The only reason Farage keeps him around is because he knows he's absolutely no threat to him. He isn't, is he? He's no threat to anybody. Hey, Klaus, how you doing? I like your name, by the way. Klaus Anal Schwab. I like that one. That's a good one. Good play on words. Hello, Lodger. How you doing? Right, for all those that have just come into the live stream, I just want to repeat beginning of the live stream. Sorry. Special announcement basically is that I have been. Well, the story is briefly, our house was repossessed because our landlord stopped paying his mortgage payments, so the bank repossessed the home that we were renting. They told us initially that they were going to try and get investors to, basically a new landlord, so we wouldn't have to move house. They lied to us, and they were already looking for private owners of the property, people that weren't going to rent out the property. And so last week we got informed. Way back in November, we were informed. We got a no-fault Section 21 notice informing us that we had to be out by the 27th of November. Now, we got in touch with the homeless team, and they said, do not move out on the date they stated, because if you do, you'll be making yourself voluntary homeless, and we won't be able to help you. So we've had to go through all the process for the last few months, and basically we've been waiting for them to issue a Section 8 notice. They went for the accelerated version, which basically gave us no notice, or we didn't get a month's notice or anything like that. We just got 9 days. So we had 9 days to plan and move out of the property, and it's been an absolute nightmare. So that's the main thing. So this is going to be the last live stream from here. We're going to have to move into emergency accommodation for the time being, because we literally got nowhere to go, because you can't find anywhere in 9 days. We didn't even know what was happening. We've just been kept in the dark all the way through this for months without knowing what was happening. And then one day we just got the accelerated Section 8 notice through the door saying that the property had been the possession order. The court had granted a possession order, and that we literally had 9 days to get out of the property, or they were going to send the bailiffs in to forcibly evict us. So that's what we've had to face. So that's the last time I'm going to say it, because it's upsetting and stressful, as you can imagine. But yeah. So yeah, we were on Tice. Yeah, Tice is an idiot. He's a moron. Absolute dick of a man. So let's look at this one, because I found this interesting as well. So this one here. This is Martin Dewberry. He's asking, why aren't the Islamics integrating into our society? Well, it's because their entire culture is based around their religion. and they won't integrate into a society that isn't Islamic. That's the part and parcel of it. We've imported a culture that simply will not integrate into other societies. Other societies have to integrate into it. It dominates other areas where it goes. And like I said, this is the Wahhabi Islam. This is the political Islam that is in this country. That's why we've got the Muslim Council of Britain, the Muslim Council of England, the Muslim Council of Wales, Muslim Council of Scotland. It's all political. The Islam that we have in this country is political. And it won't integrate. It simply won't. I lived in Iraq for 5 years. I was doing private security out there, and it cannot get along with other people. It simply can't. It has no tolerance whatsoever of other faiths, other religion, other people, or other beliefs. That is the honest truth to it. That is it. The Wahhabi version of Islam is just not tolerant of anything. And that's what we have in this country right now. So when people ask stupid questions like this, saying, well, why haven't they integrated? It's obvious why they haven't integrated. It's because they go to mosques 5 times a day to pray. And when they're at the mosques, they're told that we are kuffar. We are not to be trusted. You are not to associate with kuffar because you will darken your souls. You will taint your souls if you associate with the kuffar or you embrace their ways. They're told this. They are taught this in the mosques. And when you have generations of children that aren't integrating in our society because their mosques are teaching them this, they are teaching them that we are less than cattle, that we are not to be associated with. That's why they have their own colonies within our country. And you would think somebody like Martin Dewberry would understand this. This is why it's happening in this country, but they just don't seem to understand that. They don't. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Richard Tice is a Poundland Roger Moore. That's a good one, actually. Yeah. That's an assault to Roger Moore, though, isn't it, really? 14 countries in the Middle East used to be Christian countries. They're here to take over, exactly. That's absolutely 9 days. He's discussing spiteful. Exactly. Yeah. And that's not just me, that's other people as well. They can apply now for an accelerated eviction notice. So they can apply for a Section 21 notice at the same time they apply for the eviction notice. So they can give you your notice, and then if you don't move out on the date from the Section 21 notice, it automatically kicks in on the day that you don't move out, and then you've got 9 days. But the thing is, you don't know when you're going to get the eviction notice, so you can't plan anything. So most removal people, they need at least a month's notice to plan anything. And we've had to basically just get a removal firm that puts everything into storage, everything, and just forget about it. And, just up people our lives. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going into a guest house first. We were told well, we were told that we could stay in this guest house. That's courtesy of the local council, but we're told that we're not getting breakfast. Breakfast isn't included in that, even though it's a bed and breakfast. And then obviously that makes my blood boil because we see the 4-star hotels that our new arrivals are staying in. They get 4 square meals a day. They get the doctors going out to them. They get the dental people going out to them. They get phones. They get everything. And that's courtesy of me that's paid in a lifetime of tax into the system. And yet I don't get anything out. I get virtually nothing out. All I'm getting out of it is probably, a roof over my head. Everything else I've got to pay for myself, which is disgusting, in my opinion. But that's enough of that. 5 years as a PMC in Iraq. You should have bought your own place with that amount of money, Vindicator. Unfortunately, I was young and stupid. And didn't invest. And I'm paying the price. Let's just say I got involved with the wrong person when I came back, partner-wise, and she took me to the cleaners on a lot of things. I thought she was She wasn't the person I thought she was. Let's just say that. So unfortunately, I lost most of it. If UK falls, Poundland will be renamed Goatland. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at a few more of these things. So this is interesting as well. So apparently, more than 30 Brits a day are being arrested over offensive social media posts, an investigation has revealed. So we've got a police force that doesn't want to police crime. They just want to police thought, don't they? That sounds like a lot of people, mate. Yeah. Your channel is the most common sense and factual I've come across in a long time. I'm sorry to hear your awful personal circumstances from Glasgow. Keep going, son. I will do, mate. Thanks for that. Brilliant. Yeah, I've heard that Glasgow isn't looking too good either at the moment, is it? Reports that racial tensions are rising between the new arrivals and the Scottish people. I think it's going to kick off, and it's going to start. Something's going to ignite, isn't it? We're in very, very close to proximity to people that don't share our beliefs, that don't share our values, that don't want to integrate. They would just want to come here and start living their old life in this country without embracing or respecting our culture. And that is just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? Sorry to hear that about your circumstances, Vindicator. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot. A nurse has been arrested for not saying pronouns to a man. Yeah, I heard about that. Just when you think our police can't get any more retarded, and then they go and do something like that. It's unbelievable what's happening in this country. And then you've got Keir Starmer going into the Oval Office with President Trump saying, "Oh, we do have free speech in Britain. We've had it for a long time." What a crock of shit. I've just seen what they put Funky Prepper through. This regime we are living under is vile. Exactly. Well, in Glasgow, even woke Plod Scotland had to arrest 3 of the twats who videoed little kids. Exactly. I think I showed it the other day. I'll try and get it up, actually. I'll try and get it up because I did a video about it the other day. I'll just show you all. I'll show you all. When the laptop decides to load it up. Yeah, our country is in real trouble at the minute. It really is. And it's not going to be long. Somebody's going to make a wrong move. Somebody's going to say the wrong thing in the wrong circumstance. And something is going to kick off. And it's not going to be pretty, is it? We had such a great country at one time. And I think, like many have said, we've got to remove the great from Britain now because we're not great anymore, are we? I don't know why I've done it through this way. I can't even do it like that. I'm such an idiot with this computer. Right, we'll do it through this way. Right, I'm going to try and get this image up. So, what content do you want to see me making? Do you want me to make content where I live stream from a pro-Palestine protest and we try and get some action? Because I do miss going out and doing the protests. I used to like doing the stand up to racism ones because that was just content rich. That those events were, they really were. I mean, for me, going to Sheffield, it's a 10-minute train ride from where I am. So going into the middle of Sheffield and covering one of the protests would be quite interesting. Quite fun, actually. Right. Okay. I'll tell you who my local MP is, and you're going to basically. My local MP is Toby Perkins, the Labour MP. This is the guy that during COVID put his gas and electric expenses from his own personal home on his parliamentary expenses. That's what that sack of shit did. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in a Labour-run council, so I'm currently in Chesterfield Council. So this is the guy on here. This is the guy that I was talking about. So this piece of shit on the screen, he dropped his pants in front of a primary school and was doing unspeakable things with his nether regions, if you know what I mean, to the local children while they were playing in the playground. That's what he was doing. And he's a new arrival. And this is one of the type of people that Nigel Farage isn't going to deport or anything like that. So he's going to remain in the country, doing what he's going to do. Eventually, he's going to take it further, isn't he? And do something to a child, because he's going to get his rocks off doing that, like the disgusting piece of shit that he is. But he won't be deported by Nigel Farage. And this is my point that I'm making with the Reform Party. You know, he can come in as many JCBs as he wants, but he's got no interest. I mean, look at the videos recently that I've uploaded. The one from last night about Lee Anderson. He basically laid it out plainly, didn't he? He said that they don't care about the country. They just want a bit of power in Parliament. They just want to sit in the middle ground on the gravy chain, much like what he did in the European Parliament, because the European Parliament had no power. It was just a gravy chain for him, wasn't it? Basically, allegedly, Lee Anderson was paid a sum of money to join the Reform Party, as was Andrea Jenkins. So, yeah. Take of that and make of that of your will of the Reform Party. They've got no honour. They've got no dignity or principles. But yet we've got the clapping seals that want to get them in power. Shocking, isn't it? Right, so what are we on? I'm going to... I think a lot of people are, Nicola. I'm done with Reform. I'm absolutely wanting nothing to do with that vile party. Yeah, unfortunately, lots of people are still drinking the Kool-Aid. They still think they're the party that's going to save us. They're not. They're just not. I have never liked Reform because it's not a party. It's a company whose shareholders are millionaires. Richard Tice is one of them. Well, is he though? Because apparently he doesn't have any shares in the company now. It's just Zahir Yousaf and Nigel Farage, because they transferred the title over to the Reform Party 2025, and listed in Companies House, the directors are Zahir Yousaf and Nigel Farage. Richard Tice isn't even on there anymore now, so he's been demoted. I'm guessing Nigel convinced him to give up his shares, like he did with the lady who's now running against him in Runcorn. Judge Reform on the May elections and then the 29th. No, I'm going to judge them now on their actions. I'm going to judge them now on their actions. I'm not going to wait till 2029 or the May elections. The Reform Party has proven to me that they're absolutely worthless to vote for. Their actions alone, the way they've conducted themselves with Rupert Lowe, that in itself should be enough for people to ditch that party. It really should. The way they've treated them, because that should tell you everything about how the way they operate. You know, if they're going to lie and cheat about one of their own, what are they going to do to us? That's what you have to ask yourself. So no, I'm not going to wait till the May elections or 2029. I'm not even going to give them the opportunity. I don't want to be proven wrong. I'd rather them not be in power at all, to be honest with you. No one is going to trust the Homeland Party with appears to be minuscule of voters in the UK. Apparently, they were involved. Apparently, one of the actual leaders of Hope Not Hate is ex-BNP. I didn't even know that. Ex-BNP, and now he's in. What is it? He's in the British Communist Party. Crazy. And let's face it, right? The Homeland Party. If you've got any association whatsoever with the BNP, regardless of how you feel about that, nobody's ever going to vote for them, are they? The minute people find out any connections with the BNP or anything like that, that party is dead. And that's just the way people feel in this country. That's why historically they've never gotten anywhere, have they? I think they held a council for a term and then they got booted out. It will be. Yeah. And what are they going to do? Bring back the BNP and the National Front? Nobody's ever going to vote for those parties because historically they've liked an Austrian painter, haven't they? They've worshipped an Austrian painter. And nobody in this country is ever going to vote for a party that has links to that. I'm sorry, no matter how you feel about it, nobody is. It's going to be a very, very tiny proportion of the population. What we need is a true right-wing party, not far right, a right-wing party, a hard right party that is going to go into Parliament and just wreck it. Just go in there and just do what Trump's doing to the system. He's dismantled it. He's dismantled the parts of government that are just that shouldn't even be there, that are just a waste. And that's what we need to do in this country. But it's getting the right people into power that are going to do it. You know, I watched God, what's his name now? Carswell. I forget his first name. Somebody Carswell. I watched his video on YouTube. And he listed a full category of what needs to be done to save this country. And I watched his video, and then after it, I just thought, we haven't got a single party that's capable of doing that in Parliament at the minute. It's not just about doing it, it's a willingness to actually do it. And we just don't have the people to do it. Nobody's willing to change the system because they all benefit from it. And that's the issue. We don't have time for a new party. Take money and time for it become established. People said we have got time. We've got 4 years. 4 years ago, the Reform Party wasn't polling the way that it was now. So we have got time. And I'm sure that backing would come from somewhere. I'm not going to say where, but I know where it would come from. So don't be defeatist. We have the power. If you want change, you can do it. I keep saying this in my videos. We have the power to vote for a party to give us change. And you have to look for the party that is saying the things that you want to happen. And the only party that's doing that at the minute is UKIP. Rupert Lowe's saying the right things. He's in Parliament, but he's one man at the minute. He hasn't got a party behind him. He hasn't formed a party. He has no infrastructure. Whereas UKIP has. The Reform Party is toast, and rightfully so. Nobody should vote for a party with an M chairman. Doubt if we'll have a vote in 4 years. Anything can happen. That's if everything hasn't kicked off in 4 years. We're very close at the minute. Right, is there anything anybody wants to talk about? I'm not going to stay on too long. I've been on 39 minutes. I'm going to stay on until I've been on an hour, and then I'm going to end the live stream. So does anybody want to add any suggestions about what they want to talk about or anything? Anything in the news you want to talk about? Nigel has to go and pay someone to go and join the Reform. So They're artificially getting members to stand as candidates. Exactly. And what happens when you do that? You're getting people that don't really believe in your cause, that aren't really interested in implementing the policies that you're promoting. And if they've defected to your party, there's a very good chance that once they become MPs again, they're going to defect back to their old party. They're simply using the reform as a conduit to get back into Parliament and get back to their old parties. How do you donate to support you? What's the best way? I don't want any money, mate. I don't want any money. The best thing people can do is like and share my content. We'll talk about that when the time is right. I don't want any money off anybody. I don't want to be a grifter or anything like that. The most important thing at the minute is the message gets out about what's happened to this country and stuff like that. The channel will be monetized soon, so there will be adverts on the video, and that is going to help out a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to be major or a lot or anything like that, but every little helps. I don't want to be like these bigger channels where they grift off their subscribers. I don't like that at all. So, yeah, thanks for offering, but I don't want money. At last year's general election, UKIP could on. What? Could on. I don't even know what that means. I wonder if GB News were playing the recording of Lee Anderson. Man say no. No. Is it me, or has GB News become the Reform Party channel lately? It just seems that way to me. They've just become the Reform Party channel, haven't they? Like the BBC is the Labour Party channel. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure you offer me support if I was the other way around. Yeah, I would, but I don't want to take advantage of people, mate. It's not my way. I like to pay my own way, and I appreciate it and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. I don't need to take offence and think I'm just knocking you back. I just, yeah, it's an honour thing, mate. I'm a bloke. It's an honour thing. Obviously, further down the line, once I get the channel established and we get a bit better and stuff like that, we'll see. But for the time being, I'm fine. Exactly. You're not too late, mate. You're doing great. Sorry, I'm late. I stand with Israel. Still don't get this, right? At last year's general election, won 3% of the vote. What makes you think they can do any better next time around? Support. Because last time around, everybody was voting for the Reform Party because everybody thought the Reform Party was going to be the new thing. Imagine what would happen if 4 million people voted for UKIP. Just imagine that. 4 million people voted for UKIP, or even more. We need to get the membership up. People need to become members of UKIP, build up support for them to help them build infrastructure. There's no point saying that, oh, they only got 3% of the vote, because that's what Reform was doing like 4 years ago, before that they started to build up their membership, start to say the right things. What happened to Musk funding Rupert and Ben? I haven't heard anything about that. Vindicator, have you ever tried to join a platform called Blue Sky? No. No, definitely not. No, UKIP are carrying too much baggage. They're still known as the racist party, unfortunately. The racist party. Why are they called the racist party? Because the Reform Party is called the racist party too. They're labelled far right as well. So that's just nonsense. I have a UKIP candidate. Vote for them. Vote for them. If you do the protest again, mate, be careful. Lots of lunatics around. Yeah. When I used to do my door work, I've still got the stab-proof vest, and as I assure you, that's what I'll be wearing. If I go to any pro-Palestine marches, I will be wearing the stab-proof vest. Don't worry about that. Anyone saying about the percentage game? If Labour lost the mosque black bloc vote, they would be in power today. Yeah. Reform would have disbanded before any Patriot Party to have half a chance, and that's not happening. Well, it would if people abandoned the Reform Party. It didn't help when you had people like Carl Benjamin making disgusting jokes and talking like he was a YouTuber commentator rather than a politician. Yeah, exactly. I don't know about you, but I like him. He's a really good YouTuber. But when he makes those speeches on the stage at the Unite the Kingdom rallies, I just cringe. Some people just have the ability to speak in public and some don't. Carl is a really good speaker when it comes to making videos where he can make a script and he can, have his own time to say his thing on camera. But when he was public speaking, no, not so much. It was treated more as a joke as well, in my opinion, not as a real thing. Why are you writing in all caps as well? Why are you shouting at me? Sorry, but you cannot vote for a party if they don't put candidates, which is precisely what UKIP didn't do last year. Yeah, but why aren't they putting candidates? It's because they don't have the backing. If they get the membership and they get paid up members joining the party, they'll be able to fund more candidates, won't they? That's why you have to get behind them. That's why you have to become a member. Yeah? There comes a point where you have to take some responsibility. You can't just say, well, there's no candidates in my area. If there's no candidates in your area, become one or volunteer, help them out. You can't just sit there in your home and just expect the parties to do all the work and say, you need to be ready for me to vote for you. That's not going to happen. People need to get behind parties and help them out, build up their membership, build up their infrastructure, get the money rolling and get the cash flow going into the party. Then they can start doing things. That's the point. I don't know about the pro-Palestine march in Sheffield. It is pretty leftist, but a small demo. Even Leeds is getting smaller. Yeah, but I would go because I used to go to the stand up to racism. I went to the George. If anybody go and watch it on my channel, go and watch the George Floyd stand up to racism protest they did in Chesterfield. It's hilarious. It really is. And the best thing about it is you just let them speak because they just sound like crazy people when they speak. I just enjoy triggering them. I enjoyed triggering them when I used to go to the protests and watch them lose their minds when I used to just drop truth bombs on them with facts and evidence, which they got nothing to counter. Because obviously all you get back is, no, you're a racist, you're far right, you're the master race. All that kind of rubbish. But they're just giving me everything that I need. You're absolutely right, Vin. It's going to be down to people power. We can do it. We just don't have a choice. No, we don't have a choice. We just got to get stuck in and do what needs to be done. We can't just say, right, you need to do your thing so I can vote for you. You've got to have some kind of interaction yourself to make it happen. Join UKIP, vote UKIP, yeah. And the only reason I'm saying join UKIP is because there's nothing else. There really is nothing else. There's been rumblings about Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. Ben Habib is too busy. He's building up the Great British Pack, which isn't a party. It's not a party. It's a think tank that is going to be there to provide help to any right-wing parties that do go into government. They're going to provide them with policies to put forward. That's what they're going to do. I stand with Israel. I get angry with the ketchup stained plastic babies, but when I'm fucking chief constable marches with the exactly. Look at the parties across Europe. They are far ahead of anything in the UK. They are organised and they are professional. Exactly. I believe him. I do not believe Farage and Co. No, exactly. And the thing is, can you imagine Nick Tenconi on TV with Sky News? Do you really think he's going to be one that just stands there and just takes the knee to him like Nigel Farage does or Richard Tice? He's just going to say what he thinks and tells them exactly what he thinks of them, isn't he? I mean, look when he. I mean, this is why they're rubbish in interviews. Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. It's because they haven't been on the street. They haven't been on the street and debated their rivals, the people that don't like them, face to face. That's what Nick Tenconi does. Look at when he went to that school, about the school that cancelled Easter. He had all the lefties taking him on, and he was taking all of them on by himself, one by one. There's a group of them. It's on YouTube. He took them all on one by one, and he asked them questions. He didn't get angry with them. He didn't have to insult them. All he did was just ask them why they were coming to the conclusions they were coming to, and they couldn't respond. And in the end, what did they respond with? Oh, you're being racist. You're being Islamophobic. And at that point, that's when they lost the argument, because they couldn't answer his questions. That's the sort of leader we need. He was brilliant at the school. Nothing but pure facts and logic. Exactly. He knows his stuff. And the minute somebody asks him a question, he fires back straight away. Doesn't give him a chance. That's what I like about him. He really was. They just didn't. There was that. Who did the video on it? Yeah, Dino Bain did the video on it. Go and watch his video. It's brilliant. And he does an excellent breakdown of what happened, Dino Bain. Did a great video. Go and watch his video on that. I bet a lot of you already have. But yeah, it was great. I watched it today. Yeah, he had the male Karen coming up to him and basically trying to throw all the buzzwords at him, and he was having none of it, was he? Right. I find Carl Benjamin incredibly childish and pretentious. I agree with him about a lot of things and regularly try to hear him out, but it annoys me deeply. The thing is, right, I'm going to say this, and this is what I think of a lot of the bigger YouTubers. A lot of the bigger YouTubers are they're middle class to upper class, and we don't really have any true working class big YouTubers out there that speak for us, the working class, that can relate to us. You know, you've got the Lotus Eaters, and they're very middle class. They don't understand the middle class. They're in their own little bubble. It's not their fault. They just never lived the lives that we've lived. It's quite obvious. They've all been to university. They've all got degrees, stuff like that. But they've never been working class like we've been working class. They've never had to live from paycheck to paycheck or anything like that. You know, they're doing really well for themselves, aren't they? And that's what I think we need. We properly need. Even Paul Thorpe, he's not really working class in my opinion, is he? You know, if you can afford to go to Spain on a whim all the time, then yeah, you're. You know, he started off his watch channel, didn't he? So that's why he's got the viewership he's got. A lot of us have to like slowly build up our subscribers, because I mean, Dino Bain was the same for a bit. He was shadow banned for a while, like me. I was shadow banned, and it was only when he gave me a shout out that I got out the shadow ban, because my subscribers took off, and it booted me out the shadow ban. But yeah, we don't really. I was going to make this into a video, but I tried about five or six times, and I was just like, no, I can't do it. I was stressed out from the move and sorting things out, and I was just getting angrier and angrier as I was trying to do this video. I was like, I just gave up. But what I was trying to say in that video, I forgot what I was going to say now with all that. Mine's not what it is at the minute, guys. Sorry. Yeah, what I was going to say was that all these bigger YouTubers, they claim not to speak for us all. They claim I can't speak for you, but in a way they do because of their influence. They don't realize that because they've got a huge following, they do influence people's opinions. So I don't want to go too much about it, and I don't really blame him. But when Paul Thorpe was sat on the fence for so long about the Reform Party, people kind of followed that. They were still supporting the Reform Party with him because he just couldn't get his head round why the Reform Party wasn't for the country. And like I said, it's not really his fault. He's on a different journey. We're all on the same political road at the minute, but we're all on different parts of that road, if you know what I mean. Some of us are further back. They've only just joined the road. A lot of us are further ahead on the journey. And that's the way I like to look at it. It's not really their fault. They're just a different part of the journey that maybe I was on probably 2 or 3 years ago. But I've moved on from that. I've seen the actions, and let's face it, he's only been doing political videos for a year, hasn't he? So he's not really caught up to where the rest of us actually are at the minute with everything. That's how I see it as well. I stopped supporting Reform, but I was, until recently, open to being persuaded back. You could say I left the door slightly ajar when I walked, but now I'm done. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are thinking that way now. We do need a true working class patriot, but fair play to Paul and Carl. They do go on marches and try. Yeah, they do. I'm not dissing them for that. I'm just saying that they're the kind of they say they're right wing, but they're not really. They're kind of in the centre ground. They're centre right, whereas I was in the centre ground. I've had a very political journey over the last few years. I was on the left. I went all the way through the centre ground, and now I'm firmly on the right of politics because that's what needs to happen. I know what needs to happen, and being in the centre ground isn't going to solve anything. They keep talking about uniting the right. Well, you're not going to unite anything from the centre ground. You're not, because people like me are just going to see the people in the centre as fence sitters. When they're calling for everybody to unite, it's like, well, I already am united with other people who are on the right wing, who know what needs to be done. For me, it's people who are in the centre right position that they're flip flopping about. They're sat on the fence. They don't know which way to go. So to them, it does look like the right isn't united to them. When the matter of fact is, it's the centre right that isn't united. That everybody who is, hard right knows that what needs to be done. We need mass deportations of illegal immigrants. We need to get behind UKIP. We need to get them boosted and looking like a real threat to the Reform Party. That's what we need. But the people in the centre, they won't get behind UKIP because to them, they look, oh yeah, they're a little bit too spicy for me, kind of thing. When the reality is, that's the party that we need to get things done. That's how I see things. They're also pushing for anti-Sem jail terms in the US. Right, okay. You can't have the movement dominated by the upper echelons of middle-class talks and wealth toffs. You won't to call it working class movement. If you want to call it, well, yeah, exactly. Reform has great potential. Reform has great potential as people's movement, but Farage has fully compromised it. Tice, Mohammed, and Farage are pro-mass immigration. They are fake patriots. I'm going to say it, right? And this is why many people voted for them in the general election. They looked like a promising party. And look at what we were being sold. We were being sold that they were right-wing. Nigel Farage was there with his 2 union flags either side of him, when he was making his addresses in his videos, like saying, I'm a warrior, I'm going to fight for this country, and all that shtick. And what happened once he got in power? The two Union flags, either side of him, disappeared. And then he basically became the Liberal Democrats over the course of what has it been? 6 months, 7 months? Over the course of 7 months, they've transformed themselves. They've purged anybody with any foot slightly right wing within the party, and they slowly drifted towards the centre ground. And even Lee Anderson said, I keep saying this, Lee Anderson corrected a GB News presenter and said, we're not a right-wing party, we're a centrist party. So that should tell you all you need to know. That should tell you all you need to know. They're basically the Liberal Democrats at this point, aren't they? Why do you think a Liberal Democrat can join the Reform Party? If they were actually centre-right, there's no way a Liberal Democrat would join them. There's no way a Labour Party member would join them. It wouldn't be possible because their opinions would be too polar opposite. It's not true. They're recruiting all the Tory wets that have basically destroyed the country over the last 14 years. They're going to be no different. They're going to be no different than what we've had before. Right, we're on the hour mark, guys. I've actually spoken for an hour now. That's usually the limit. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and thank you for all your wishes and well wishes and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the kind words and stuff like that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing. Don't forget to like and share this video, this live stream as well. Really appreciate it. Really helps me out. The channel grow and all that kind of stuff, all the good stuff. And I really appreciate you guys. This is what I like doing. I like talking to the audience. And once I get a better laptop, I will be inviting more guests in and stuff like that. And as the channel grows, we'll try and get the bigger names to come and chat and stuff like that if they want to, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, great to talk to you guys, and I shall see you all soon. I will be doing live streams, but it will be directly from YouTube, not from StreamYard. So I'm not entirely sure how it's going to be. They might be out and about live streams and stuff like that. So watch out for them. I am going to try and do a pro-Palestine march just to pop my cherry on that, because I haven't really done one of those yet. I was thinking about going to Manchester and see if I can find Charlie Veach and doing a pro-Palestine march with him. I think that'd be quite fun. That might be a good one to do. What do you guys think to that? Vindicator strikes back in Manchester at one of those pro-Palestine marches. See what happens. Hey, I'm all up. I'm definitely not a keyboard warrior. I like to get out and about. I like to face the people that I talk about. I really do. As you can see, go and watch my protest videos. I'll make a playlist so you can go and watch them. But yeah, they're quite funny. Right, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for being there. Thanks for listening. Really helps. Thanks, everybody. I shall see you all soon. This is Vindicator signing off.